born September 26, 1889 in Meerkirch, Germany. He was raised in a Roman Catholic family, and he adhered to the First Vatican Council of 1870. He entered a Jesuit seminary but was turned away within weeks due to heart complications. He soon left Catholicism completely, saying that it was incompatible with his philosophy. He then studied theology and philosophy at the University of Freiburg on and off until 1923. He was elected to an extraordinary professorship in philosophy at the University of Marburg in 1923. Through a confrontation with Aristotle, he began to develop the main theme of this philosophy. And in 1927, he published his main body of work, Being in Time. He then succeeded Husserl as professor of philosophy in 1928 at Freiburg, which is where he remained for the rest of his life teaching his philosophy. On May 1st, 1933, he joined the Nazi Party until 1945, and he went through a series of denazification procedures until he became a National Socialist in 1949 and returned to teach at Freiburg until 1967. Heidegger married Elfriede Geschrei on March 21st, 1917. Their first son, George, was born in 1919. He spent most of his remaining years at his vacation home in Teutoburg, where he enjoyed trips through the Black Forest, which was nearby, which was his ideal venue for developing his philosophies. He died on May 26, 1976, and was buried in the Meerkirch Cemetery. About his philosophy, Heidegger's fundamental concern throughout his work was the question of being. Heidegger was highly influenced by Edmund Husserl, a fellow philosopher. Heidegger's philosophy can most accurately be summarized in his first book, Being in Time. Being in Time investigates the question of being by asking about the being. Even being is a question. Heidegger names this being as Dasein, and the book pursues its investigation through themes such as mortality, care, anxiety, temporality, and historicity. It was Heidegger's intention to write the second half to this book, but he died before it happened. In conclusion, I'm going to show a short clip for you to better understand who he was.
He is contrite about his involvement with the Nazis, but not in any very knowing way, that he doesn't really understand himself, and he doesn't understand the significance of what he's done. She'll exchange letters with Karl Jaspers in which they shrug their shoulders and say, it's his character, there's nothing to be done about it, like, he's a fool. And in many ways he was.
Hannah Arendt never entirely forgave Heidegger for his Nazi past, but she does seem to have accepted most of his explanations for what he did during the Third Reich at face value. She worked tirelessly from 1950 onwards to promote his work in America, thereby completing his extraordinary rehabilitation.
Hannah Arendt had publicly taken position against the Nazis. She was known to be Jewish. She immigrated to America. The fact that she would defend Heidegger made it look as if there was finally nothing to reproach him with.
What is perhaps most troubling about Heidegger's post-war revival is that he never apologized for what he had done during the 30s, or uttered a clear denunciation of Hitler and his crimes. Even the murder of 6 million Jews was an event about which he seems to have felt no obligation to speak.
He resumes teaching, and literally the philosophic and literary world looks to him, come on, speak out, say something human on the Shoah, the genocide, on the Holocaust. Nothing. Nothing. Now that's when my bafflement and rage begins.
When Heidegger died in 1976, it was the sage who was remembered in all the obituaries, not the practicing Nazi. But as the full extent of his involvement with the Third Reich has come to light over the past 20 years, a painful reassessment of his place in the history of philosophy has slowly begun. It's still not clear what the verdict will finally prove to be. He may well come to be seen as the greatest thinker of our age, as his supporters predict. But it's also possible that the grave defects of his personality, his arrogance, pettiness, and lack of human feeling, will rob him of the status he thought he was destined to achieve.
There are a lot of cases of bad men writing interesting books, and Heidegger is just a spectacular case of that sort. He stumbled into a situation that he didn't have the character to get himself out of, and for the rest of history he's always going to be stuck in the trap in which he mired himself.
Any questions for Seb?